No, Senator Sabi, Nigerians will want to give you that benefit of the doubt, but I'm sure they will also want to know the process. When a budget is presented on the floor of the Senate, how is it, who is the custodian of that budget until the day it's handed over to the senators, to each senator to look through? Who keeps it?
Yeah, the procedure is that upon the laying of the budget, remember it was done in the chamber of the House of Representatives, and so the clerk to the House of Reps, surely has custody of that document, and thereafter it is also transmitted to the Senate. Now it is now being produced and made available to senators, and then we now go into debate of the budget, which is the process through which we now have the second reading, and it is now committed to the committees. And I want to say that, well, despite the issue of the two versions, I think that is the process that must still happen.
So were the two versions presented on that day? Because what you're saying now means only one document was presented on that day and is kept in the custody of one person who produces it to everybody.
Remember what we said is upon resumption from recess, copies of these documents were produced so that every senator and every member of the House of Reps is able to get a copy. And I did mention that it was at this point that it was discovered there was some difference between what was laid and what was mass produced and brought to the National Assembly. And I think it was from that point that some people gave the name missing budget, and we have said that there is no missing budget. But surely there was some development that probably made some confusion obvious, and hence the present situation.
Yeah, but for the president to have written, doesn't this perhaps underscore all the rumor that had made the rounds previously about missing budget?
Well, I don't think the communication from Mr. President is an admittance of any missing budget. Because like we said, remember you were asking me if there was difference between the two budgets. Is it possible you make an assessment of something that is missing? I think the point should be very clear here. There was no missing budget.
Okay, now, no missing budget.
What we have said is that there were two versions, right, and I think this will be resolved surely.
Okay, but in today's papers, we see where Buhari's budget failed integrity check, Senate. That's in front page of some of the papers. What happened? How did the Senate come to that conclusion?
Well, I understood the Senate leader made a press conference yesterday. I wasn't there. I wasn't privileged to listen to the content of what he has said. But perhaps what he is just trying to elaborate here is the fact that we asked a committee to help us find out what happened. And I think it was the committee that established the fact that there was, two versions. And I think it was from here, maybe perhaps if he's saying the first one that was checked, if maybe the content is different from what was provided. If he means, if he's using that, exercise to mean integrity check, perhaps. But like I said, I wasn't there, so I wouldn't really know what exactly, he's trying to say here.
Well, text of what was said on the day is right here before us, and herein he explained that some projects which were not included in the budget document before were smuggled in to cater for hidden interests. He says, quote, "What we tried to do was to make a comparative analysis. The difference is not in the subtotal or sectoral allocation. The Senate did integrity check and found out that in some cases, a certain amount of money was allocated to do 2 projects. And because of integrity check, they found out that more projects were included in what that amount was voted for initially." That's what he meant.
Yeah, well, at any rate, Chamberlain, in the process of committees interacting with the MDAs, the entire process itself can be akin to in an integrity check, because it is an oversight responsibility as constitutionally mandated that the National Assembly has to scrutinize the budget document, ensure that there is no duplication, ensure that the projects that are so proposed are going to give maximum impact as enunciated in the medium-term expenditure framework and also the fiscal policy, strategy. So I want to say here that the process of considering the budget by the National Assembly is actually an integrity test itself.
For some, just in case, by the time we get to 10 o'clock this morning and the letter is about withdrawal of this document, are we likely to see the president represent the budget personally again to the Assembly?
Well, Suleiman, I think we'll wait for 10 o'clock, and whatever the letter says, then we'll take it up from there.
This should worry you when it comes to security matters, going on recess, coming back, getting to see another document with the original, or getting confused as not to know which is the original and which is the illegal document, so to speak. What is the Senate doing in terms of, what is the Senate doing in terms of security? Because it will seem, a moment, it will seem as if this was smuggled in. Is that the case?
No, we don't have any smuggler doing any work here. Like I told you earlier, Mr. President laid the first one last year, just as constitutionally mandated. And the senior special assistant to Mr. President on National Assembly Matters, Senate, brought copies of what was supposed to be the budget document earlier laid by Mr. President. Now we realized there was some textual or content difference, like the Senate leader even said. Now, for us, we don't want to say that anybody smuggled anything. But the issue here, like I said, when Mr. President's letter are read to us today, we will be able to clear the air on whatever issues are still appearing unclear to us. And I will make it very clear that the process of laying a budget is just one, and that has been done. So whatever it is that we're going to do henceforth, I want to believe it's just a normal process of considering the budget by the National Assembly, ensuring that whatever projects are in there are projects that will surely bring about the diversification of the economy, bring about the creation of youth employment, and the infrastructural issues and all the other issues that Nigerians are yearning for our economy and our country to be great.
We must give it to the Senate.
So I want to plead that...
Let me come in here. It will seem as if that we have a meticulous Senate. Otherwise, they wouldn't have noticed the difference between what the president presented and what was finally brought by his legislative aid. Has the Senate invited their own colleague who, perhaps to find out if it was a mistake or deliberately submitted another copy different from what the president did submitted to the National Assembly?
Thank you, Suleiman. Like I have always said, the Senate, as one of the critical institutions of our democracy, owe it to Nigerians to ensure that it is thorough, it is responsive, and that will protect the integrity of whatever that we're to do as it affects the citizens of our country. So for us, like I've said, when we get the content of that letter today, we'll definitely, clear the air on the way forward. And I want to assure you, like I've said earlier, that we're not expecting any laying of any second budget because there's only one budget. And whatever amendments that may happen, it will happen within the context of the process of considering the budget itself, engaging the MDAs, and ensuring that at the end of the day, we have a budget that is implementable. We have a budget that we have confidence and trust in its performance when we start implementing.
So, Senator, can one infer that what the Senate will do today by 10 is, yes, they will consider the president's letter, but they will say, well, sorry, the budget has been presented. What you can do is write to seek amendments if you want changes done, but we will consider the first budget laid.
Well, like I said, Chamberlain, I think I will not want to preempt anything. When the content is read and the Senate understood, what it is, then we'll take it up from there and make all the necessary clarifications. But like I have said, we have resolved very unequivocally, of course, that will ensure that we give maximum attention. We'll walk extra mile to make sure that the budget is ready within the time frame that we have given to ourselves. Remember, it's not a crime for you to have a target. So February is our target date, and we'll make sure we work towards that.
Before we let you go, are you saying categorically that when that letter is finally read at 10 o'clock today, you would have information for Nigerians as regards the next step the Senate will take considering the budget?
Absolutely, Newta.
All right, Senator Aliyu Abdullahi, thank you very much indeed for talking to us today.